remote rainforests of the upper Amazon, there are still isolated tribes who gather at night and listen to tales linking them with the animals, the rainforest, and the universe. This is a tale told by Mariano, a great storyteller. His people call themselves the Machigenga.
Long ago, in the days of our ancestors, the Incas came down to the jungle from the mountains to trade with us. The Incas wore cotton cloaks, like ourselves, and brought us metal axes and knives and beautiful cloth. They lived in a high land where there are no trees, no monkeys, where the days and nights are cold. This was long ago, and to this day, the Machigingas have remained among the rivers, living in the great forest that we call Notimira, but which the white men call Manu.
The Incas lived high in the Andes, where snowy peaks loom over 20,000 feet above the sea. On the eastern edge of these mountains, where the Andes meet the Amazon jungle, lies Manu National Park, the largest tropical rainforest reserve in the world. In Manu's rain-drenched cloud forest, rare spectacled bears feed on the forest's exuberant growth. "500 years ago, the spectacled bear was considered sacred by the Inca. The white of its coat symbolized the virtuous snow of the mountains, while the black represented the brooding depths of the rainforest. No longer sacred, and now hunted by humans, spectacled bears cling to a precarious existence in the remote cloud forests of the Andes. With its magnificent feather crest, a male cock of the rock tries to catch the eye of a drab female. Their brilliant colors are hidden to most of the world, except to those few who venture into the cloud forests of Manu. Water tumbles down through the cloud forest and into a mysterious realm of winding rivers and isolated Indian tribes. Amid these ancient and primordial forests lies the heart of Manu. More than 3,000 miles west of the Atlantic Ocean, Manu National Park is located at the remote western edge of the Amazon basin in southeastern Peru. Isolated by rugged Andean peaks to the west and unnavigable rapids to the east, this immense park, half the size of Switzerland, protects more species of animals and plants than any other place on Earth. Within Manu's forests live 5 ethnic tribes. One of these is the Machigenga, a name that means the people. Their isolated hamlets lie scattered along the upper tributaries of the Manu River. Today, Manuel has walked miles through the jungle to visit 4 generations of his family. 50 of his 80 years had passed before he saw his first white man. The Machigenga live in extended families that depend upon one another to survive in the rainforest. In so doing, they have become intimately connected with the forest and its animals. Manuel's great-grandson, Alejo, helps his father, Marino, make arrows for this morning's hunt. Alejo's brothers are too young to venture far from home. Instead, they spend most of their time close to their mother, Maura. Although Alejo is not yet old enough to hunt monkeys, he accompanies his father into the forest. For the forests of Manu are his school, and his father the teacher. They may walk over 25 miles on a hunt, leaving early in the morning and not returning until dusk. Even then, the outcome is uncertain. A half hour from the village, Marino calls for woolly monkeys. Then tries a spider monkey call. Marino rubs a special plant onto his palmwood bow. Its spirit will infuse the bow, helping him improve his aim. Spider monkeys are difficult to hunt. They live in the top of the canopy more than 100 feet above the ground. The largest monkeys in the Amazon, they are also the fastest and the most acrobatic. A hunter will be lucky to get a clear shot. Their strategy is to isolate a monkey from its troop, then to flush it into the open for a shot. Although highly skilled, Machigenga hunters like Marino may spend 3 or 4 days in the forest and still return empty-handed.
Ma, siamo. Sintari non è atti ishigai. Da what's ish. Tiranonki.
Alejo's great-grandfather, Manuel, is too old to hunt. He and his wife are supported by their sons and daughters. Antonio is the only man to have hunted successfully today, tracking and killing a large tapir. He shares the food with his father-in-law, Mariano, the storyteller, his brother-in-law, Marino, and the rest of his extended family. By sharing food, no one in the community goes hungry, despite the fact that here there are no stores to buy goods. In ancient times, however, the Machigenga traveled far through the forest and into the mountains to trade.
And so our ancestors used to go to Paititi to get knives and axes from the Incas. Machigengas from all over Manu would go there and trade. And then one day, white people began pouring from the ground, like termites. They climbed over the mountains and killed the Inca. And then they began to hunt us, to surround our villages, to set them on fire.
During the rubber boom at the turn of the last century, outsiders swarmed into the Amazon, setting fire to villages and carrying off thousands of Indians as slaves to tap the rubber trees.
White people have been here ever since. My fathers and their fathers always ran from them. If they hadn't, there would be no Machigenga left here today.
To escape persecution and slavery, the Machigenga retreated into the remotest recesses of Manu, hiding there among the ancient forests and mist-drenched lakes. The rubber tappers also slaughtered vast quantities of game. Only since the 1920s have Manu's Indians and wildlife had time to recover. Manu now hosts another type of invader, bent not on destruction but on preservation. Talia Yosa is a Peruvian biologist who for the last 6 years has been studying Manu's rare giant otters in an effort to save them from extinction.
El lobo de río es uno de los animales más conspicuos.
The giant otter is one of the most conspicuous animals in the park, not only because they're one of the largest carnivores in South America, but because they are gregarious and their calls can be heard from hundreds of meters away.
Propelled by flat, powerful tails, otters bullet through the water in pursuit of their prey.
Giant otters eat fish head first because some of the fish that they eat, like piranhas, have very sharp teeth. By crushing the fish's skull, they kill the fish immediately, and then they can't be bitten.
Giant black caiman up to 18 feet long also patrol the lake. Their prey includes unwary mammals. Although a lone otter cub can be vulnerable to attack, an adult at 6 feet long and 70 pounds is in little danger. Hunted by man to near extinction, fewer than 80 giant otters live within Manu. Yet this may be the largest protected population in the world. In a single day, an otter will consume more than 10 pounds of fish. For a human, this is equivalent to eating over 20 pounds of food a day. Giant otters are known as river wolves because they live and hunt in packs. Unlike wolves, however, they rarely share their catch, often ignoring their own offspring. Their extended families are led by an adult breeding pair and includes their young from several different breeding seasons. The group's size may vary from 2 to as many as 15. Although most of their time is spent in and around a single preferred lake, giant otters often travel from one lake to another, using the rivers as highways to look for untapped reservoirs of fish. At midday, the otters haul out on the logs to bask in the sun.
I take notes every 5 minutes from when the otters begin their day at 7 in the morning until 6 at night when they go to sleep.
Each otter has a throat pattern that is as distinctive as a human fingerprint.
I named many of the otters after friends of mine that I had made in the park. This one I named Benito.
The patterns help Talia to identify and follow the otters as they form new groups or set out on their own. Like other social carnivores, giant otters spend a lot of time grooming one another. Scientists believe that mutual grooming reinforces the bonds between family members, helping them avoid conflicts, since they must rely upon the group for their very survival.
The giant otter, in contrast to other otter species, is a very social animal. We occasionally saw groups as large as 12 to 15. Both adults and cubs love to play. Cubs play almost constantly, feigning mock battles, tumbling and chasing each other. Their favorite game is hide and seek. They can be very funny and very sweet.
Cubs beg for solid food even though they're nursing. It will be 2 years before these twin cubs are old enough to leave the safety of their group and begin families of their own. Each otter group is highly territorial, carefully marking the lake shore with their scent. When out of the water, otters are at their most vulnerable. A 200-pound jaguar may attack an unwary solitary otter, but will avoid conflict with an otter group.
Manu is one of the last protected refuges of the giant otter in the world, and I feel privileged that these animals have accepted me and allowed me to watch them. It will take all of our efforts, however, if these unique animals are to survive in the wild.
When he was young, Mariano, the storyteller, was a shaman. Due to a serious illness, Mariano's shaman's soul was damaged. Yet he still prepares a mixture of sacred plants that give him access to the spiritual world. These and other plants are crucial to the Machigenga, for the spirits within them also have the power to heal. A gifted linguist who speaks more than 10 languages, anthropologist Glenn Shepard has lived among the Machigenga for nearly 2 years, studying their medicinal plants.
Before I came here the first time, I just went to the library and looked up Machigenga in the card catalog, and lo and behold, there was this old book published in 1927 on the Machigenga language. And so I picked that up and learned a little grammar, and then within a few months of coming down here, I was already speaking the language at a basic conversational level. The Machigenga have knowledge of at least 300 or 400 medicinal plants that I've collected so far. 25% of all Western pharmaceutical drugs are derived from compounds first discovered in the rainforest. And yet, by the same token, only 1% of all rainforest plants have been studied. The chances are very high that we could find cures for all kinds of different diseases in the rainforest. Mariano has learned medicinal plants from his mother and from his father, and now this knowledge is being lost at an incredible rate.
While most scientists look only at the physical reality of the rainforest, Shepard has been exploring the Machigenga's spiritual